Get that in you. Soak that in. Let me just appear right now. Let me just pop into existence. Hey guys, welcome to another video. As we've got Jabba the Hutt flicking his tongue at us. You might not be able to tell based on the footage we're seeing, which is completely irrelevant, but we are playing Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2 Rogue Leader for the GameCube. I'm not sure what I want this series to be. I thought I'd throw a video up of a couple of the first few levels, and you guys could let me know. Do you want me to do more? Are you done? Do you want me to do a live stream? What are you thinking? You guys can let me know that. I'm completely open to whatever. As a kid, I loved Rogue Squadron for the N64. Growing up, I did not have a GameCube. We were an Xbox household. The latter household was an Xbox household. My last name is not actually Ladder. But we were an Xbox household, and as an adult, with the power of emulation, now I get to go back and replay all these old games. So we are playing this on Dolphin. It's not a perfect experience, but there's so many cool Star Wars games that if you guys are interested in, I'd be happy to stream, especially now because Dolphin does have retro achievements. Although the ones for this game are actually down right now. No matter. We're only going to play a few levels today. Ones that I've already beaten anyhow. But you guys will see some of the technical issues. In this first level, I think because of the kind of massive background, is actually the worst for it. So we're going to start right in. You guys know it. You guys know the background. We're going to start right in with the... oh, geez, I almost flew right into that tower. With the Death Star run here. And you can see right away, one of the big, pretty cool differences in this game compared to the original is that you actually have a little more control on your squad now. Obviously, there are, friendly starfighters in the first game, but they kind of just fly around and they do help. But in this game, you've got some control on them. Like we'll see later when TIE fighters show up that I can tell them to either help me with the guns here or take some heat from those fighters. And these games are actually pretty difficult. Like especially when it comes to protecting allies. So having some friendly fighters can definitely be helpful. As again, we will see. So we start off. We don't actually have to destroy these little ones, but I'm sure we get some bonus points for doing so. Let's just get a little closer. The distance for how far you can fire in this game, it seems pretty low. I noticed that playing some of the other missions, especially the one where you've got to destroy the Star Destroyer with the B-Wing. That one's tough. It's just like in the movies. So much like the movies that I'm probably going to actually get a copyright flag. We'll see. So yeah, now I can send them after ties or guns, or just have them stick with me. But I'll send them on other fighters. I will say, this game generally, I think, is a pretty decent step from the last one. But one area that I've noticed that not to be the case is actually in terms of how enemy fighters handle and behave. They're just a lot more fun to fight in the first game. Like, in this one, it kind of just feels like they're flying scripted patterns. And you'll see especially, too, like, when I'm in the Y-Wing in later missions, they kind of just chase you down and get behind you, and then the second you try to pull any sort of maneuver, they kind of just jink out of the way. It's kind of interesting, though. The first game, I was talking a lot of nonsense for someone getting no kills. But yeah, in the first game, despite it being Rogue Squadron, you don't actually fly in space for any mission. The closest you get would be Bespin. And I'm guessing that's probably because the sort of 3D flight worked a lot better on a single plane. Or a single orientation rather than a single plane. And it's true for this game as well, but if I hold the Z button, You can see I can spin, but the game is really meant to be played with like a pretty standard, you know, with a ground to help orient you, I think. At least that's how I see it. This game also, it does go a bit more into the, like, it is a bit more visually cartoony, which I think is, you know, kind of just pretty common for the GameCube era. It feels like Nintendo was kind of really figuring the brand out and what works. Not that the first game was really too much different. Just GameCube games, they kind of have a look to them. And this one certainly does. I mentioned that the game has some emulation issues. You'll see when I go into the cockpit here, there is, in that first person mode, there is a bit of a stutter, which isn't a huge deal. Any mission with like lots of stuff going on in the background like this one is a bit rough as well, especially where I do have it. I haven't messed with any of the emulator's base settings. All right, let's just do the old stop flying maneuver. I haven't messed with the emulator's base settings at all, so I'm sure there's a way to get even more performance out of it. I'm also forcing it widescreen, and I'm upping the resolution by like 3 or 4 times just to make it look even better. So considering that, and considering that this, along with its sequel, are kind of widely seen as the hardest game to emulate, it kind of speaks to the quality and the progress we've made in emulating. We, as if I have had anything to do with it, other than, you know, I did, I was a supporter of Project 64, monetarily, so I'll take some credit. But what they do with Dolphin is actually pretty incredible. Remember when Luke hit the brakes on Vader and just shot the hell out of his tail? Unfortunately, he had the TIE Advance. So, another loss, I think, in this game, unless it's a control that I just haven't figured out, I don't think you can control the firing. I'm just giving it to him. I don't think you can control the firing type for your X-Wing or your other fighters. So, like, in the original game, if you've got an X-Wing, you can link your cannons, your 4 cannons, so they fire all at once. You can stutter it so they're one at a time, or you can do kind of 2 on 2. So 2 fire, then 2 fire. I don't know if you can do that in this game. So once you open your S-foils, your first volley is always a big 4 shot, and then it just turbo fires. Alright, let's do this from first person. We did it. We did it. We did do it. I'm going to adjust the screen slightly because I see we got a little cut off here. I think you guys would probably prefer black bars and a bit of a weird background to missing some of the screen. So a silver, pretty good. We need to kill more enemies in less time with better accuracy. So not even close. Not even close. Ice and Corridor Ambush. So we can actually do this one with several different craft. I think that's because I've beaten it the first time. So this does take place actually right after Yavin. One of my favorite elements of these games, especially as a kid, was being able to explore the hangar of Home 1. In the prior games, you kind of just select your craft and go from there. In this one, you actually get to like walk around, which is pretty cool. I don't know if you can I don't know if there's any secrets or anything. Like, can I walk up these stairs over here? I can't jump, I don't think. No, I can't walk up the stairs. But I believe it's the next one where I'll actually be able to. I think in the next one I'm actually able to play some ground missions. I don't know if I've ever beaten that game. Let's do it as the A-Wing, why not? Famous last words. We'll give her a try. But yeah, if you guys enjoy this series, maybe you'd prefer I do it as a live stream. Maybe you prefer I do it like in this video format. Let me know how heavily edited you want these. kind of regretting the A-Wing already. But yeah, I'd be happy to do this as videos, and there are lots of games to play as well. Like, I know I've done the Jedi Knight games as streams before, but I actually recorded all of the Dark Forces remake, and then I didn't upload it. So maybe I do that. I actually just recorded it for footage. I didn't do commentary, so maybe I'll play it again if you guys are interested. You like here the ties are kind of boring, where they're just kind of like flying in what looks like pre-planned routes. So, well, the A-Wing has concussion missiles versus the proton torpedoes of the X-Wing. Will they actually lock on? Doesn't seem like it. That's probably an upgrade you have to get. So one of the things these games do is they, a little too fast. Uh-oh. That's not good. They hide upgrades, like, on the mission. They're like little, at least, I can't remember what they look like in this game, but in the first one, they're like little red boxes. They're kind of cool looking, I gotta say. But once you get them once, you kind of upgrade it. You get a new weapon, basically, that is better for the rest of the game. Anytime you use that craft, which is pretty cool. There's one left. Let's see if my wingman can hunt it down. Looks like he's below me. Unless have I become disoriented? So yeah, in this one you also, I think you play Wedge in some missions, but you do also play Luke. I'll always remember, what's that blue thing over there? Oh, I can switch my fighters now. Probably to, yeah. This part of the mission will let you switch to an A-Wing if you wanted. I was gonna say, I always, for some reason, remember the passwords for, like, the original Rogue Squadron game. Like the one, there was one where you could play as a ATST on a couple of the levels. That was Chicken Walker. So like, yeah, you're literally walking around. There were a few N64 games that did that. Like, you could also unlock the. I remember you could unlock the tank. Oh, there goes a transport. Shit. They don't even have bombers, man. Like. The Nebulon B is like designed for situations like this. Not the best shooting ever. Jedi senses aren't quite up to the task today. But yeah, in Star Fox you could unlock the tank. So that was Chicken Walker did that. Dead Dak was one. I forget what Dead Dak did. Might have unlocked all the ships or something. And then Farm Boy let you fly the Falcon, which was really good. There was a TIE Interceptor one too, I'll admit I don't remember that. This part kind of reminds me of Star Wars Rebels when they're fighting the TIE Defender. There's also a bunch of scenes in the Alphabet Squadron books like this. Yeah, I definitely would have liked, though, if these games let you fly more exotic craft. And I think it's the second one where you fly the TIE Phantom. I will admit, the two GameCube games in my mind, they do kind of stick together. I almost crunched that GR75. Which, knowing my luck, probably would have killed, well, definitely would have killed me, and probably would have taken out the transport as well. So, in canon, or in Legends rather, the whole Yavin, like what happened to the Rebels and the Rebel base on Yavin after the Battle of the Death Star was a whole story that was told several times. With the idea kind of being that the Empire deals with it in the Rogue Squadron games, it deals with it in the Marvel Comics, and the idea is kind of that the Empire they didn't hit Yavin quickly enough because they didn't want to be embarrassed by the rebels and lose, like they needed a decisive victory, so they kind of blockaded the planet And what they were waiting for was the Super Star Destroyer to show up to finish being built at Fondor. I think this is right. I think this wasn't actually the Marvel comics. I believe this was the old newspaper comics from back in the day, like the Al Williamson ones. And that is why, like, you've probably seen, if you're, into ship verses and stuff, you've probably seen that image of the Super Star Destroyer being rammed by a Star Destroyer out of hyperspace. I believe, but I'm not certain, that is from that comic. I read it a long time ago. I wonder how many times in total the Battle of Hoth has been portrayed in Star Wars media. I think the hardest version of it has got to be Shadows of the Empire, where the AT-STs just absolutely gank you from a mile away. Every ship in this game fires so quickly. Just hold on. Don't get pounded. Or I'll help you not get pounded if you want. Oh yeah, my bad. I can see why the pounding was happening. Wonder if I can order them later on to take out the AT-ATs. But yeah, the original Rogue Squadron did not have a Battle of Hoth section, but it did have an attack on Corellia, where you do the walker tie-up in that, and more famously, I would say, infamously, look at me just slaughtering these troops with my blasters. More infamously, you have the Liberation on Fest, I think the mission's called, where, well, you got to rescue those AT-PTs. You also go to Fest in Dark Forces 1. So, there you go. That would have been a fun little connection had I uploaded that playthrough I did.
Excellent, Rogue Group. We'll take it from here.
Take it? Yeah, I imagine you will. I gunned down half of their defenseless infantry. So I think I'm about to play Wedge because after Dak gets that call out, he gets blasted. There's a really goofy section later on in the game, where you're flying an X-Wing and like attacking a downed Star Destroyer, and you switch to a let's just take one of these down. You switch to a snow speeder to take out an AT-AT, and like that's just to me a very funny example. Something Star Wars often does, where it like overemphasizes something we see in the movies, like how all Twi'leks are slaves. Like, oh, the only way to take out an AT-ST is with a tow cable. And no, that's not true. The only way a snow speeder can take down an AT-ST is with a tow cable. But like a snow speeder is clearly not the height of Rebel Alliance military technology. It's a speeder. Oh wow, I messed it up. It's a speeder. It was clearly just reconfigured for Hoth, like whatever they had to do, like little planetary patrols and later defense. But like an X-Wing, you see them taking down capital ships with their torpedoes and their lasers. So clearly, like something like that should be more than capable of destroying an AT-AT. Like you set an X-Wing at an AT-AT with torpedoes, and that thing's going down because it's not more well protected than a capital ship. And in Rogue One, you see them take out that AT-ACT, the little cargo one, which I think is actually, if I remember correctly, is larger than an AT-AT, but obviously, not as well armored. One thing I saw the other day that I was kind of surprised at was like, I can't remember if it was on Twitter or Facebook or something. I get the stupidest Facebook posts on my feed. But I guess this one wasn't dumb, but it was only real Star Wars fans know there's an AT-AT in Return of the Jedi. Like, to me as a kid, I always picked out the AT-AT because it's cool. And like the scene, so for those who don't know, the scene with the AT-AT is when Luke is going to, so when Luke goes to give himself over to Vader, he switches to the AT-AT. No, he does go, he travels there in an AT-AT, and then gets out, but, yeah, there's like the really cool scene at night where you get like the little operating base, like the same one from Rogue Squadron, the original in Star Wars Battlefront 2. And then the walker walks up to that and like it moves its neck, and I think it even has like a creaking sound. So I don't know how people could miss that. All right, so I think we're just protecting transports here, right? So ties. Oh yeah. Did I hear bombs being dropped? I swear I hear bombs. Yep. Crap. So yeah, like when I'm playing the N64 game and fighting TIE bombers, I like to I'm trying to concentrate. I like to do the quad because it does I think it probably does the most DPS if you can hit every shot. Which on like an interceptor is probably not going to happen. And if you do, one shot is probably enough, but on a TIE bomber where they're sitting ducks, yeah, you got a good shot. Speaking of, I do like how you have a bit more, you get a bit more leeway to smack things in this game. Even the ground, like, oh. Never mind. I don't know if that counts as a death. But even the ground, you can hit it and you can bounce off. I don't think you can do that in the first one. All right, let's do one more mission though. Again, like, why is the background there like Luke facing off against Vader? I don't know. I feel like these games would be extremely difficult to like min-max. Oh, this one's annoying. This is a tough one. All right, we'll do this and we'll end it. This one is tough. We'll give it one shot, and if we don't get it, we'll give her next time, if there is a next time, or I'll just play it on my own if you guys aren't interested. Let's get this to 10,000 views. If we get to 10,000 views, I guarantee I'll do part 2, and I'll make Charlie edit it. For context, today is July 21st, 2024. The normally, you know, you wouldn't have to say the year, but with Charlie, it can be important. I like the. Actually, no, I don't like the Y-wings cockpit very much. The funny enough, I was just mucking around in the training before I started. The what's it called? The Luke's speeder is an air speeder, has a cool cockpit. This part's weird. So like, I don't know if you get bonus points for destroying these little transports. They don't even really show up on the radar, I don't think, because all you have to do here is go knock out the little shield thing around the Maw entrance. It's also like these. This part's pretty tough though. I usually lose at least one life here. Let's see if I can kill this dude on the way. But oh man, I'm taking a lot of fire. Let's just slow her down and see if I can grab a couple of those ties that are on me. I like to imagine this is like Palpatine. It's a personal visit on the Maw. Poker night with the boys. See ya. I just heard one tie get taken out. I don't know if I get credit for those kills for the purposes of like score calculation, but so yeah, we gotta take this force field out. The Y-wing is kind of unique in that it has two of the two secondary weapons. It has an ion cannon and a bomb launcher, proton bombs. What's also unique though is that the bombs actually recharge or reload. So I've got 20. I've got those 20 there, and then I will also have, you know, they'll slowly. It's like it feels like one every 5 seconds. Let's see if that hits. This part's kind of janky. Yeah, so you just gotta take out any 3 here. But you're getting a lot of fire at the same time. I've gotten kind of lucky here. Come on. Yeah, so that didn't hit for some reason. This one should. There you go. Now we just gotta survive for a second. We'll get a cutscene. We'll go to the base. It's these turrets that are firing at me here. This part's pretty fun, mostly because you get to destroy lots of ATPTs. Not as much as the Cothless level, which you also go to Cothless in the first game, but so this is a Rogue Squadron classic, the Protect the Train. Here you go. Here you go, boys. One for you. One for you. Yeah, I think you go to Cothless. I could be wrong, but I feel like in the first game you go to Cothless. Ooh, I almost bombed the train. On the second level, maybe? Like when you're recovering that, I think it's the second level. I mean, no, the third level, because the first is Tatooine. Then it's, I can't remember if it's Yavin or not Yavin. It's maybe Yavin, I don't know. And then it's, then I think it's Cothless, but I could be mistaken. So the Maw's a pretty cool location. As I do these gameplay videos, I want to drop as much kind of lore as I can. So you can see the Maw is a cluster of black holes. And this is supposed to be, I believe, the same Maw facility that they go to in the Jedi Academy trilogy, which is both a prison. It's like a series of asteroids connected together. I don't know if this is supposed to be the same one or maybe a different asteroid in the area, but there is one that's basically a high-tech weapons research base, and that's where the Sun Crusher comes from, and the prototype Death Star, and a bunch of other things. And one of the funny things about the Maw is that basically it was so top secret that Palpatine set a series of, it's actually Tarkin, not Palpatine, of 4 Star Destroyers. The Gorgon is the one that I can remember. They're all kind of, I think, basilisks. They're all kind of like Greek creatures for whatever reason. Yeah, so they're there, and the crew of those ships, the most famous member being Admiral Dalla, they're not allowed to leave. So they stay there. They've got no contact with the outside world because, again, they're performing these super advanced and super important research projects. Like, again, did I say Galaxy Gun? I meant, what's it called? The other one. But, ooh. If you're in a TIE Interceptor and you get shot down by a Y-Wing, like, that's a massive skill issue. But, so anyway, the war ends. Or, not ends, but, you know, the Rebel Alliance kills Palpatine. And the fine folks at the Maw are not aware of this. They're off doing their own things. And, of course, Han Solo, along with Kip Duron, and, if I remember correctly, and Luke both end up there at the same time. At least Han does. So they get sent to Kessel, because Kessel's right outside the Maw cluster. And they try to escape, and they end up in the Maw cluster. So it's a true out of the fireplace, into the fire type of situation. And then they steal the Sun Crusher, which is like it's a super weapon that's like can destroy entire star systems by shooting, I believe it's called a resonance torpedo, into a star, which doesn't like, it's not like a Death Star in that it instantly blows up, but it kind of, the way I always imagine it is it kind of sets such a chain reaction up that destroys it. What am I doing here? I think I gotta kill another gun. There's gotta be another gun that I missed. Oh no, I gotta take out these. I think it's 3. I don't think 2 will do it. Oh no, 2 will do it. Okay. So yeah, because it calls it like a cascade, resonance cascade, if I remember correctly. Wildcat or destabilization. A few of you will get that. I mean, but yeah. So like when Kip fires the Sun Crusher at Kurita, They got like a... After the torpedo hits the sun, or the star, the local star, they get like a 15-minute warning, which has got to be worse. Because they don't have time to escape. But the Sun Crusher is extremely overpowered. On the way out of the Maw, they ram it through a Star Destroyer. And it's completely fine. It actually goes through the bridge of the Star Destroyer. And comes at the other side. Because Han and Kip steal it. Along with Danny Kui. And, go away. Go away, please. And yeah, later, because the New Republic realizes it's such a dangerous weapon, and they probably shouldn't be using Imperial, research projects like that. They try to toss it in the Yavin gas giant, which is, not an ideal location because Kip Duran ends up getting Exar Kun, the Sith Lord who perished on Yavin and was entombed. Well, he was basically exiled to Yavin, but I don't even know if you can destroy these towers with lasers. He ends up taking over the mind of Kip Duran, who was already he had some darkness because he had lived his whole life in the spice mines of Kessel. But the Sun Crusher inside the Yavin black hole, or not black hole, gas giant is not destroyed. So Kip uses the Force and grabs it. So it not dying in the massive gravities of the Yavin gas giant is a pretty impressive feat, especially considering it can destroy entire solar systems, and that's why a lot of people use the Sun Crusher as an example of a overpowered aspect of Star Wars Legends, and they're right to. I also don't love the Jedi Academy trilogy. The weird thing is the Jedi Academy trilogy, which was obviously a trilogy of 3 books. I just got a signed copy from the author, by the way. Was later kind of quasi remade with the the novel I, Jedi, which inserts the character of Corran Horn into the entire situation. Well, that's my brief history on the Maw cluster. I guess this one isn't the research base because it's destroyed, but it must be in the area. Didn't talk about Abeloth. Lots I could talk about. The Maw cluster was used by Jedi during the Yuuzhan Vong War to hide their apprentices and pupils. And then Abeloth, who is kind of encased in the black holes in the middle, kind of turned everyone crazy. But that's all for now. I hope you guys enjoyed this this episode. If you want more, I'll do more. If you don't watch, I won't make more. I'll just play it by myself. But yeah, I've got a lot of gaming to do. Especially now that I'm a big retro achievements guy. I like chronicling. I'm not an achievement hunter, but I really like chronicling what I play. So I got lots to do. So if you want more, let me know and I'll make more. Until then, see you soon. Be safe and may the Force be with you. Bye-bye.